Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Or am I the one who's supposed to be welcomed back? Which is which? I know I have a tendency to ghost you lately, but let me just say life happens. Yeah. Some of you have been wondering where I'm at. Some of you even think I got married. Praise the Lord. Well, I'm back to tell you all about it. I went on a Christmas break, ended up having a New Year break, and now it's almost Valentine's. But hey, what matters is I'm back. Let's focus on the present, people. Let's focus on this moment right here. Yeah, so while I was away, a lot of things happened, a lot of changes took place. And if you know me and you've been following my journey, you do understand that I'm very huge on inspiring conversations. I'm huge on growth and mindset shifts. And I feel like today's video is more of a story of growth than a comeback video. This is not just a video to tell you, hey, I'm back. As much as I love to do that, let's just say I would prefer to add value to your life for the time that you're watching me, right? Yeah, so what have I been up to? What have I been doing? If you know me, you know I've mostly in this space, but it got to a point and I decided, you know what, I just want to venture out. I want to do something else. I want to try something new because I'm the kind of person that likes juggling so many things at the same time. And if I'm not juggling many things, I feel like I'm not as productive. So maybe it could be toxic, but that's just me, yeah? So got to this point and I decided, you know what? We are gonna start an Airbnb business. And yes, there it is. The cat is out of the bag. My Airbnb business is what has been stealing all my attention, fortunately or unfortunately for you. But yeah, so that is it. That is basically it. So if you're watching me and maybe you're facing a new challenge, you're facing a new uncertainty, or you want to venture into something new, I believe that this video is going to be for you. It's going to inspire you through my own experience. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it. So let's just dive right into it. I began my Airbnb business. How? When? Let me tell you. It must have been mid-December, yeah? And maybe I should mention the whole of last year, 2024 felt like I did nothing. Literally nothing. Nothing. I was always in the house, and if I'm not in the house, I'm probably somewhere doing retail therapy. And in my defense, in as much as I was not doing anything physically or productive outwardly, I was healing. Yeah, I was taking time to grieve my mom and just be with myself, get to understand myself, get to adapt to this new life, because it's a completely new life. So in my defense, I was not completely idle. I was healing. And yeah, I feel like we are in a generation that does not appreciate time to just heal. Like, healing does not seem productive, but trust you me, you are more productive when you're healed than when you're broken. So let me just say, in 2024, in as much as I didn't do anything progressive, I progressed on the inside. I was healing, I was adapting, I was accepting, I was just facing my fears and so much more. It was all inward. So in a nutshell, 2024 for me just felt like a journey of healing, basically. So come December, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, that has been a long year. I need to do something with my life. Yeah, in as much as I love just being idle, quote unquote. Yeah, I wanted to start being productive because I realized, you know what, years are moving, time is going, and I don't think it's waiting for me. I don't think it knows that I need time to heal. I don't think it knows that I'm broken. I don't think time understands that I need time, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So I just got to a point and I was very exhausted. And I just needed to do something with myself, needed to delve back into something. And maybe I should mention what kept me going in 2024 was knowing that I was going to go back and do my master's. And that just gave me the strength to be able to heal and just sit and be there, you know. But just because of a few challenges here and there, I had to defer school again. And so I decided I am not going to wait another year and just say I look forward to going back to school, you know. Sometimes waiting doesn't have to be idle, you know. It doesn't have to keep you in a parking lot. And I felt like that is how I was. I was always in a waiting mode. I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for that particular time, waiting to go back to school, waiting. And honestly, waiting can be very, very exhausting. It can be tiring, especially if you love being a productive person. And I guess that's just the point where I got to. I was so exhausted. I was tired of waiting. I was just feeling I need to do something to make me feel like I'm alive and I'm happy to be alive, you know, not just watching days go by. Time is flying, my peers are moving on with their lives, and I was like, yo, Rozitta, we need to do something. So in that space that I was in, I started praying and thinking and asking myself, what can I do? Yeah, sure. I'm a data scientist, I'm a mathematician, I'm a computer scientist. Fine, but I have nothing to show for that. So what can I do that I can associate myself with, you know? And that is when I remembered some years back, my mom and I used to talk about running an Airbnb business. And for some reason, I had completely forgotten about it. But during that moment of just praying and asking God, what do you want me to do with my life? What can I do to feel like, you know, have something to look forward to in the present, not like in a year's time or in 2 years' time. Like right now, I want something right now, you know? And that's when that idea just dropped in my heart again. And one thing about me, if I want to do something, I'll do it. If I get the idea and it sits right with me, I will literally, okay, not literally, but I will run with the idea. I will make haste. I will not delay. I will do everything I can in my power as long as I've made up my mind. So I just made up my mind one night and I decided I'm going to start an Airbnb business. So where do we begin? Well, good thing is I had friends who ran Airbnbs, and I want to shout out to Zawadi Homes. If you've watched my previous episodes, you know I was filming from their Airbnb, and I feel like it was very pivotal in my life. That moment where I was filming that season, I feel like it played a huge role in just reviving that desire within me. So during that time, I thought to myself, if I'll have any questions, I'll definitely just reach out to them and ask them for guidance. And so first things first, I had to start looking for a house. I knew I wanted a 1-bedroom. I had a budget of like 15,000, and I started looking. I literally made up my mind on a Wednesday night. And on Friday, I was looking for a house. I knew the location I wanted the house to be in. I knew I needed a 1-bedroom and the budget that I was working with. Now, as I was moving around from house to house, apartment to apartment, I figured that it's probably going to be easier to get a 2-bedroomed house. And so I changed my mind. I adapted to the reality. It was easier to find a 2-bedroom house for the quality that I wanted, because girl has standards, yeah. So I started looking, And yo, let me tell you, the rent amount was crazy. I went to one house, it was 35,000 Kenyan shilling, 2 bedroom. And I was like, Lord Jesus, am I serious? Is this what I really want to do, Rose? Is this it? Well, I just brushed it off. I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. Because, nah, I'm not doing that. So I went on looking for a house. And eventually, now let me tell you the most ironic bit, yeah? I came across another house. It was also a 2 bedroom house. And it was the same price. It was 35,000 Kenya shillings. And I fell in love with that house. It was literally calling my name. It knew all my phonemes. It was calling me. I could hear its voice. And I said to myself, this is it. I'm going to risk it. I'm going to risk paying 35,000 shillings for a 2 bedroom house. I'm going to risk it. So I wasn't sure about the idea though. So I went to talk to my dad about it. And he was also like, 35K? Are you serious? And it wasn't a shock because I knew I was risking it myself, yeah? So eventually the following day, I got the house on Friday, right? On Saturday, I tell my dad, let's go see the house with you. So he walks into the house, falls in love with it so much harder than I did. And he was like, okay, fine, we are taking the house. You're going to see the house right here on the screen as I'm talking. It was beautiful. Oh my Lord. It was so gorgeous. And I knew, you know what, if I'm going to take a risk, it's going to be this house. And on Saturday, that same day, we paid the rent. My dad helped pay the rent for that. He said he was going to sponsor me, at least support me. And so he paid the rent, yeah? So I knew I'm sorted. Rent for January, we are good. We are fine. So next thing, we went to the furniture shop. I ordered this sofa, which I'm sitting on. We ordered a bed. Next stop was Isili. I was basically moving from city to city, town to town, village to village, looking for things. And so that happened all in 1 week. In 1 week, let me tell you. So, can I remember the dates? The date I was ready to start launching. It must have been the last Sunday of December. I don't remember what date that was. But on the last Sunday, I called my close friends from church, some elders from church, and I was like, hey, we are going to launch the Monarch Suites. That's the name of my Airbnb, the Monarch. Yeah. So I tell them we are gonna go launch my house in the evening. I'm telling them that in the morning, yeah. So in the meantime, I'm waiting for the sofa to be delivered, and the fundi had said he'd deliver it at 4. So I told my guest to come at 5. Bruh. I went to the fundi at 4. Tell me why my sofa was not ready, and I've already invited people for a launch. Like I've told them, tonight we are launching my business. We are dedicating it and we are ready for guests. Well, let me just say it all worked for good, yeah? So I got disappointed. And I had to cancel. I told everybody, hey, there's been something that has come up, so let's plan for tomorrow on Monday. And they were like, yeah, it's cool, no problem, we'll be available, it's fine. The fundi had said he'd deliver the couch on Monday. On Monday, I go to my apartment, I'm setting up, everything else is fine except the couch and the extra bedroom. And so I'm just ready. I'm ready any minute the sofa is gonna come in. Then I get a call from the agents of that apartment and they tell me, hey, Miss Rose, we need you to come to the office so that you can sign your agreements and just to ensure everything is all right. And I'm like, okay, cool, fine. So I went to their office And as I'm reading through the agreement, this should probably be a lesson for somebody. As I'm reading through the lease agreement, it says Airbnbs are not allowed. Bruh. We have just paid 29,000 and Airbnbs are not allowed. I am ready. I have set up everything. I've mounted the TV. Literally everything is fine. Even the wall hangings, everything is ready for guests. And so I go to the receptionist and I ask her, so what exactly does this mean? Because this is exactly what I want. I want to set up an Airbnb. And she's like, oh, you cannot do that, blah, blah, blah. You have to write a letter and request for a refund. I was like, okay, cool, fine. If I'm going to get my refund, then it's okay, no big deal. And now the hassle is I need to remove all my things from that house into another house that I don't have. Remember, I have invested all my savings into buying everything in the house except a few items that I stole from home. And all my money has gone into furnishing the Airbnb. And now I have no house to put those things. When I tell you I was so stressed, it's gonna be an understatement. But then I had very supportive people around me. So yeah, I just tell them, hey, we need to start looking for another house. And so what I did, the first thing I did is I went back to the same estate, looked around to see what other options were there. Unfortunately, there was none that was meeting the standard that I had met with this other house. When I tell you that house was gorgeous, oh, believe me, it was. Well, you can see it for yourself from the videos. And so eventually I decided to go back to the other 2-bedroom house that was also 35K. It didn't have a finishing as standard as the other one, but well, it was also a nice one. I was willing to take it. So I get there and I'm talking to the caretaker of the apartment, and he tells me, oh, unfortunately, we don't have a vacant house right now. Previously, there was a vacant which was taken when I said I didn't want it. And so I'm like, oh, shoot. Okay, what do I do now? Where do I begin? In the process of wondering what do I do, the caretaker tells me somebody has just reported they're going to move out. They're going to move out in 2 days. And I'm like, oh, really? Okay, cool. That's fine. Now, the vacant house I'd found within the same apartment had not yet been occupied. It had just been paid for. So I asked the caretaker to allow me to put all my stuff in that house. And then when this other tenant moves out, I can now move in with my things. And we made an agreement, everything is fine. That's exactly what I did. I moved all my stuff out of the first apartment into this new place. Now I'm settled, I'm excited, like, yeah, we are back on track, people. Don't worry, everything is working out. Tell me why. On the day she's supposed to move out, she says she's not moving out. Tell me why. I was so depressed. I was like, come on. What's the meaning of this? Because I started feeling like maybe this is not the will of God. Maybe I went ahead of myself. Maybe this is just not for me, I had so many doubts within myself. But then I thought, I've already invested literally everything, every coin that I had has gone into furnishing. There's no way I'm giving up at this point. There is literally no way. And there's no chance of giving up because I'll have lost all my savings. And who's doing that? Not me. So the following day, as soon as I heard she's not moving out, I had to start looking for another house. And I moved around. Oh my gosh. I looked around. I moved for like 2 days. On one day, I literally used a boda because I need to maneuver through places all day and still found nothing. So the following day, the same day we are moving with the boda, we finally come to this house at around 6:30 p.m. We have been moving from around 10 a.m. Yeah. So we get in here, it's so quiet, it's cozy, it looks posh, and I'm feeling out of place, but well, I deserve to be where I know I deserve to be. So we get in anyway. So I asked for a house and they said there was one. And on my way to this place, I had seen this apartment being repainted. There were like painters outside, they were painting and stuff. So I already knew there was a vacant house. But the vacant house I was shown was not this one, it was a different one. And I see it and I'm like, nah, this is not it. This is a shell. It has nothing to eat. I don't want this. Can I see the one that's been repainted? Now, this is where you see God, yeah? So I say I literally insist that I want to see the one that's been repainted. And so I'm on the stairs, coming back up to see this house. And on my way, I meet with a friend of mine, shout out to you, Tim. I meet with him and he asks me, hey, Rosie, what are you doing around here? And I'm like, hey, Tim, what are you doing around here? And he says, I'm the landlord of the house you're gonna see. And I'm like, now it makes sense. Now it makes sense why none of those other houses could work out. I had to come here, meet with you. Like, what are the odds? We were classmates in Strathmore Uni when we were doing CP after Form 4. That's where we met. And for some reason, we've had each other's contact since 2015. 10 years, wow. And now I meet him and their family owns this apartment. And I'm like, okay, that's a sign. And you know what? I'm going to take the house. So we walk in and I can see they're doing repairs and repainting. It's looking classy, it's quiet, it's cozy. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take this house. And all of a sudden, it made sense. It made sense why none of the other places could work out. I mean, what are the odds? After 10 years, what are the odds? And I was so excited. I was like, finally, things are starting to make sense because, I was this close to giving up, even though I knew there was no way I was going to give up, but I was feeling like it. Let's be honest. You can feel like giving up when you keep facing block after block after block after block, yeah? So eventually, that is how I moved into this house. And I called the other guy from the other apartment and I told him, hey, good news, I've just found a house, so I'm going to pick up my things tonight. And that is how everything else moved into this house. And I was just organizing, fixing stuff day after day after day, fixing chandeliers and decorating and cleaning. It was everything, a lot of preparations. I'm going to show you details about that. Yeah. And long story short, that's my story of what has been happening to me ever since I went MIA from this space. It's basically a lot of resilience. It's basically a lot of growth. And now if there's anything I'd want to share with you from my story of starting an Airbnb business, and not necessarily the Airbnb, but just basically life, there are principles you learn from one thing that make you see the possibility of applying them in other areas of your life. And the very first thing I'd want to tell you is this: taking risks is the only way to grow. I cannot tell you how much happier, how much fulfilled, how much more excited I am about life. I mean, waking up in the morning knowing I have a guest, or I have a guest coming, or just expecting a guest to check in at any minute. It is so fulfilling, and I feel like everything I went through was so much worth it, because without that, if I would have been afraid, maybe because of moving out from the first house and saying, okay, maybe it's not my thing. If I would have done that, I would not be experiencing the peace and the fulfillment that I'm having right now. I mean, this space has had guests whose reviews and comments mean so much to me. They build me up, they encourage me, and I feel like it's all so worth it, having a space where people can just appreciate your input, your creativity, your effort. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so worth it. It's so worth it, the risk that I said I was gonna take and ended up taking. And so if you're feeling like, maybe this is too big of a risk, maybe it's not that big compared to the results it's gonna give you, to the fulfillment that it's going to give you. Maybe it's not as scary as you think it is. I saw it's not a meme, it's just a pictorial, cartoons drawn and an illustration. Let me call it an illustration. And basically from the illustration, they were showing how before you begin something, it feels like such a huge mountain. And then the minute you begin doing it, you realize it's just a very small mound. Very, very small. Like it's literally nothing because you've already begun. But before you began, it felt like it's very heavy. It's very big. It's huge. It's undoable. But do it anyway. You're going to realize it's not that scary. It's not that difficult. It's not that risky after all, So stop waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment, a wise person said, the perfect moment is the moment you decide to do something. The moment you decide, I'm going to cross this bridge and I'm going to cross it now. That's the perfect timing. Take the risk and enjoy the rewards. The other thing I'm going to tell you is failure is just data. Now, I'm a data scientist, so you can see where this is coming from, yeah? Failure just basically points you away from the wrong direction. That's just how I decided to look at it when I was facing so many blocks and wondering what's happening. Did I make a wrong decision? Is this even gonna work out in the end? I was just being redirected. I failed here and I was just being redirected, And eventually I came to a space that I love so much. I honestly don't think I would have fallen in love with my space as much as I am right now in this place right now. And I just thought to myself, you know what? Failure is just data. It's just telling you, no, this is not it. This is not it. Maybe this is it. This is going to work out for you. So when you fail multiple times over and over, don't give up. Just redirect your focus and take that as data. Take that as feedback. What you're doing is not working now. Just take the feedback and run with it and try something that could eventually work out so much better than what you had in mind. So take that and run with it. And the other thing is consistency beats motivation. The irony as I'm saying this is massive because I've been very inconsistent here, but hey, I'm consistent elsewhere. I'll try to balance, I promise. But running the Airbnb business has really taught me that I do not need to be motivated to come and serve my guests. I don't need to be motivated to come and clean up the house. It's the consistency that matters. I know I could get a guest tonight, tomorrow they check out, and immediately I'm getting another guest. There's no way I'm going to tell myself, well, I cleaned up the house 2 days ago, it's clean. There's no way that's going to happen. It's the consistency that matters. It's consistently making sure my space is clean, consistently making sure my standards are maintained, regardless of how I'm feeling, regardless of the weather. That consistency matters so much more than being motivated. And it just made me realize that success isn't just about how you feel in the moment. It's about showing up when you don't want to, It's not, I feel like I want to go clean. No, I have to show up. I chose this. I need to show up for it. I need to show up for my business. This is my child. I need to show up maybe for my relationship. I need to show up for my children. I need to show up for my family. Choosing to show up is what matters, and it is what beats motivation. So consistency is the game, yo. Yeah, and I just feel like this experience I've had this past, let me say 1.5 months, has really taught me so much more. And I just look forward to unpacking all of it through real conversations, through just stories of resilience, and through mindset shifts and lessons that I have been learning, just to inspire you in 2025. I really promise to do my best to continue this journey, because I love you. I love being here. I love this space, and I just want to make this so much bigger and more meaningful with real conversations. And by real conversations, I'm not just talking about views. I'm not just talking about perspectives. I'm not just talking about opinions. I'm talking about reality. I'm talking about real life issues. And let me tell you, when I say real life issues, I really mean it, because the other day I went to my doctor. I have been struggling with some little bit of anxiety and some panic attacks here and there. But, well, I went to my doctor, and if you're a woman, there's some questions you're just asked by your doctor, and you're like, hey, doc, please stop, So I went to my doctor, and he's trying to figure out everything, trying to inquire. And he asked a very real question. And he asked me what contraceptive I'm on. And I was like, wait. Is that a question I should be answering right now? Because I think I've just been in such a shell for a very long time. And suddenly I'm being asked real questions like contraceptives. Like, girl, what? I thought I'm still 9. I'm still children, dog. I'm still a child. But it just made me realize I'm in that stage where I need to have real conversations, finances, money, dreams, visions, I family, marriage, relationships. Those conversations that initially would have made me feel like that's too grown up. Right now, that's what I need. And I feel like that's the journey, the direction that I want to take this podcast into, because I know there's so many others out there who are like me, who shy away from real conversations. But hey, we are grown. Let's do this. Let's talk about these issues. Let's inspire each other. Let's inform each other. And above all, I just want us to build a community that is resilient and real with each other and real with life, basically. Yeah. So if that's your jam, this is a good time for you to subscribe to this channel and join this chariot, because I am about to fly. I'm about to go. And I promise to be consistent, whether it's a solo video, whether it's interviews. I love interviews, and I know you love interviews as well. Whatever it is, I promise to bring to serve you, because that's the whole purpose of this channel. And I look forward to celebrating a major milestone on this channel by the end of the year. And yeah, so please join me on this chariot. I also have a membership which you are free to join. On there, I'm gonna share behind the scenes and just to build a more intimate community. So feel free to click the join button below. And if you haven't subscribed, welcome to this family. You can go ahead and subscribe, share this video, like, and I'll be seeing you on the next one. For details concerning my Airbnb, we are on TikTok. I love TikTok so much. We are also on Instagram, but TikTok mostly, at the Monarch_Suites. I'll leave the details in my description box in case you want to book, whether it's one night or a month or 3 months, whatever it is, we are receiving bookings via the booking.com, or you can also find us on Airbnb, or you can just call the number in the description box and I'll be happy to host you. The BNB is in Nakuru City. It's Hyrax Estates, and right there utatupata whenever you're ready. I'll be so excited to serve you, and I promise you, when you're in this space, oh my gosh, you're gonna feel like royalty, because that is how I feel. I created a space that serves my needs in such a peculiar way that just makes me feel so royal. And that's what I serve you, basically. I have a principle in life, in business, that I'm not gonna serve you something I cannot serve myself. So if this serves me, I bet it could serve you as well. So come try us out, or make a recommendation, and I'll be so excited. I'll be very, very excited. So that is it for today's video. I hope you have welcomed me back to your screens again. Yes, thank you so much. I love you so much. Thank you for all your support, and I will see you on the next episode. Kwaherini. Bye.